Hello, everyone. Welcoming everyone all around the world joining in on our show today, Monday the 2nd, 2022, May. And on this show, I just want congratulations on your journey to making a difference. And I'm so excited you are getting on this journey with me. We can become that change agent we are all called to be. And on this show, Making a Difference with Sandra Ukoh, we train, we teach, we mentor, and we coach people on how they can become better versions of themselves in areas of their finances, business wise, career, being an entrepreneur, leadership skills, and relationships. We learn from all the people's stories and life experience. I mean, those who have gone ahead of us, so we can write on the experience and to avoid the pitfalls and soar higher like the eagle to our goals faster and become better versions of ourselves. Making a difference does not only include you being financially okay, but doing great in all fronts of life. That's your business wise, spiritually, mentally, physically, in all manner. And today, we have a special guest with us. His name is Dipo Adesina. And before I bring him up stage, I want to read his biography before he comes to tell us who he is. Dipo Adesina is a 4X actor, serial entrepreneur, a coach, and an inspirational speaker. The gift of being able to merge his business, academics, and life experience to create a lasting impact on his audience has made Dipo an increasing sought after speaker globally. Awesome. He has given keynote speeches, training seminars, a workshop at high schools, universities, youth conferences, conventions, churches, organizations, both nationally and internationally. For over a decade, Dipo has been developing global businesses and empowering people around the world on the importance of investing and owning a business. I think that's one of the reasons that got me drawn to Dipo, traveling from US down to Nigeria, and he has got a lot of businesses that are thriving in other African countries. And for the past 5 years, he has been investing in cryptocurrencies, educating people through his crypto wealth program on why this is the best time to key into the blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. He's also the co-founder of Gura Ride, a bike share company in Africa that is dedicated to reducing carbon emission by offering alternative means of transportation with electric and smart bikes and electric scooter. That's awesome. That's so awesome. I'm going to be bringing him on stage now. Mr. Dipo, the floor is all yours. We need to learn and hear from you. Hi.
Great evening. How are you?
Very good. Doing great.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
The floor is all yours. My audience will be waiting. They want to hear you. Your name. Tell them they want to hear from your mouth what you have
Oh,
done and what you're doing presently and how you've been able to make a difference in your circle of work and where you've made a difference. Because I know I got to meet you through one of my closest friends, Titi Alaturoti. And one of the message that got me tied to you was I listened to the your audio talking about business, agriculture, and everything. That got me thrilled. And the first thing I told Titi was that I need to reach out to you. I need to get to know you. And that was how I got your details.
wow. Well, not definitely. I appreciate you so much, Sandra. I respect the work you're doing. I remember when we first connected and just your aspiration to impact other people's lives and just to kind of see between that time to now you've written your books, done so many leadership things. So it's a privilege for me to be on your platform. Like you
Thank
rightly said,
you.
my name is Dipo Adesina, and I am based out of the United States in Baltimore, Maryland. The way I like to sum up what I do is under the umbrella of serial entrepreneur because I do a lot of things. So it's kind of difficult to kind of pin me to something, right? I'm a type of person that if something makes sense financially and it's an opportunity to impact other people's lives, it's something that I'm willing to do. So that's pretty much it when it comes to what I do and being able to impact other people.
Yes, that's awesome. Yeah. We like to learn and know what
But
you
can you,
do
can you give me, can
presently.
you hold on 1 second for me?
Okay.
Okay.
So in a jiffy, he's someone that's very enterprising. You can get him for any of your events. He's a speaker, he's a trainer. He speaks both globally, both nationally and internationally. I got to know him through a friend, and it was just the audio message I listened to what he presented that got me thrilled. And the first thing I did was like go on Facebook to search for him, speak with my friends to see how do I get Dipo's details in order to be able to, learn from him. You glean from other people because sometimes you can know it all, you can have it all. You have to glean and you have to learn. And if you want to grow and you want to keep living, you need to keep learning. You keep learning from other people, reading from other people, researching all the topics so that you can be there. So I learned a lot from Dipo, and that's why, I told him, we need to glean from your experience and learn one or two things from you. He's back on stage now. Thank you,
Yeah,
Dipo.
sorry about that. So I kind of have to go, briefly in and out because I have a couple of things going on simultaneously, but I'm back now.
Sorry. You can go on to tell us what you're doing presently and how long have you been in doing it, consistency, because we're running on consistency, being persistent to get things going, because a lot of times people start things, they nibble around and they're not focused. So I know that in a period of time you're doing a business. How long have you been in it? How challenging? And knowing that we had COVID, a lot of business shut down, and have you been able to survive all those experiences?
Yeah, so one of the things that we do is that we operate a staffing company where we actually provide services in the healthcare industry. So that kind of helped us throughout the COVID period. And basically, the core of our business is to help organization is to provide staffing services for companies in the healthcare sector. So people who need more residential type of services. So we're very thankful that during the COVID period, that that really was the peak of our business because there was a lot of need for what we had to offer, right? So that's another thing when we're talking about entrepreneurship is how much of a demand is the service that you're offering to people. And I think that's where a lot of people have struggled when it comes to entrepreneurship is that, they're not people focused or value focused and they tend to get in trouble that way. So that business definitely thrived throughout the course of COVID. Of course, we're still doing whatever we can to expand and impact more within the healthcare community.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome because I know that a lot of businesses shut down, a lot of business stopped because as a result of COVID,
Yeah.
because businesses were not doing well as at that period. But you found that some of the business, some of them are coming up, some of them are, permanently shut down. They can't even come back. And that means what strategy did you put in place for you to be in? Because I know that aside from providing human services, you were also in other things. You were also doing business outside the country, the shores of United States of America. How were you able to, go around it?
So I think in any type of business that you do, you need the team factor, right? It's not possible for you to be able to run multiple businesses by yourself, right? So even with what we're doing here in our staffing company, we have multiple people doing different things. Same thing with our businesses overseas. We have multiple people wearing different hats. So that basically means that I don't have to be there physically at all times for the business to keep going, right? So when you talk about building business, the team is very critical, right? Having people who play various important roles that can make the engine continue to run.
Awesome. And I'm sure you didn't get those guys the way you have them now. You probably might have trained them, over time, build
Of
trust in
course,
them.
of course. Like even I mean, so when we talk about the business model that we're running now, whether the people that we have working at the office or the people that we have going out in the field, that training piece comes into play because everybody's representing your company, right? Everybody's representing your brand. So training and also leveraging people in their area of expertise, right? So you can train someone, but if that's not the area of expertise, then the business might not necessarily thrive like the way it's supposed to.
When you go out looking for these people before they work for you, do you tell them this is what you want them to do? Just to find their strengths, to know putting a round person in a round peg, in a round hole? Do you go all out telling them what you want to use them for, what they want to work for, or what they want to do?
Yeah, I mean, when you put out a job opportunity out there for whatever, right? You obviously attract a whole lot of people, right? So it's really you kind of sifting through the process to see who has the qualification that you're looking for. Most of the people that we get to actually work for our company here are based on people who were referred to us, right? So it's somebody who's working for us. They understand our culture, what the business is all about. So it's a lot easier for them to refer people that's like-minded like them. So that way it becomes like, okay, we're working with somebody and you know the character of that person and that it fits into our culture.
Yeah, but you trusted them because I get it. Yeah,
Uh,
the bit
well,
difficult to trust anyone.
well, from a business standpoint, if you're going to hire somebody, obviously you need to trust to a certain degree. Now, of course, it's left up to that person to prove their character once you employ them, right? So you don't know who's who, even if they have the right credentials on their resume. You've made all the right contacts to verify their character, but it's not until they start working and executing that you know who they truly are based on how they display and perform on the task.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. For the human personality that you get, is it just for health people, or do you get all across board? Anyone looking for drivers, trying to get someone janitorial services? Do you get people for them, or just the health sector? What do you
No,
do that
so
makes them different? Maybe you have a specialized training for health workers. Is that something you do that makes them stand out?
for the healthcare companies, mainly it's specialized, and that's what our company is built around as far as providing that specialty. Now, obviously, with the various companies that we also, that we're also building, that also requires different type of skill set in those areas, right? So, with the transportation, obviously, you have to hire people who are more familiar with transportation sector. With agriculture, you hire people that's more familiar with agriculture, and the same thing with the healthcare. We stick within that area of expertise.
Oh, that's awesome. So people get to know you for one thing. And so when they're looking for people to work, they're able to know that, oh, you are into healthcare, and basically they can reach out to you.
Correct. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's another thing, right? You can't be a jack of all trades. Before you start building other businesses, people need to know you as they need to know you as an expertise in one area. So our healthcare company is really just focused on providing that service, right? Now, of course, you can take as your business grows, you can take money from that to establish other types of businesses, but you definitely want to extend your tentacle within the healthcare industry if that's your area of specialty.
Yeah, but I also know that the healthcare in this side of the country, it's booming. You understand? And there's always need for stuff. You can't even meet up the
Absolutely.
demands. There's no way you can meet up the demands, because I know that in this side of the country, there's need for more health workers, and that's why you find that everyone who comes as immigrants or comes in here, the first thing they got to do is to go into the health sector, because
Yeah.
that's where you have a lot of cash cow. That's where you have, jobs waiting for people to come do, learn, and you learn on the job. Basically, I want to find out from you, have you been able to cope doing business with family and traveling?
I mean, well, number one, with the business that we're running from a healthcare standpoint is a family business. It was actually started by my grandmother many years ago, right? So, and then, with having an understanding wife that, quote unquote, stay at home mom, but also runs a business from home, managing the children helps out a lot. I feel like if anybody's going to be successful in any type of business, you need to have a supportive spouse, right? One of the things I appreciate about your husband, even though I don't know him, was the first time that we talked. He was on a Zoom session. He was asking questions. He was supporting your vision, and that would help you as a person to actually want to move forward. So, for those who are listening, like if you want to go the route of being an entrepreneur or whatever the case may be, you need to make sure that your spouse understands your vision. They're supportive. If not, it could be very tough.
Really, yeah, you're saying the truth. Because you find that whenever you have a dream, the things you want to do, you're going to go out of town. If your husband or your spouse or whatever, whoever, is not in support of your business, it tells on you, because you are not focused.
Right.
Yeah, because you have the family front, you have your spouse to take care of, and once you get a very good backing of him, you're able to thrive and you're able to soar higher in your chosen career because you have all the support from the family. Like my family, it's easier for me. My little girl that's just 9 years old, she gets all my video ready. She puts on the camera. She gets my content. She goes through my content. She will tell me, "Mommy, don't do it this way." For a 9-year-old girl, I'm surprised the way she does things.
That's
And
awesome.
you understand? So one day she wasn't around and I needed to do a video. My older son was meant to be to help me. He wasn't able to get the camera work well. So I was like, and Harmony could do this. She's just 9 years old. Because she's been able to put herself to use. She
Yeah,
does much more. She knows she has a very good technological know-how.
that's
She
good.
comes to your place, she's able to hold a remote. She knows what to press and how to get it done. Even when I get my laptop and I want to do some things, she'll just come, "Mommy, press Shift Alt, and you get this." And I'm surprised. And I said, "You say you want to read medicine. How do you think you want to read? You seem to be good on anything
Technology.
techie, anything social media." She will tell me this is how they do it. And with time, it's always good to have your family in needs because, when you're not there, somebody's able to stand in for you. Somebody's able to edit your video. Someone is
Sure.
able to do your flyer. My older son helps me with my flyer when I have too much to handle. So it's always good to you have your family know and, support you in whatever chosen field you find yourself because that eases the tension, that can ease the pain. Because the moment you get done with the video you want to edit, somebody can
Hmm.
take that off you to do. Somebody can do the thumbnail. Somebody can get, everything fixed up for you, such that you have less to do. So all you
Absolutely.
do is, quality assurance to ensure everything they said they did was right. So
Definitely.
it's always good to have your the support of your family because the business goes a lot more further. And when you're no longer there, somebody can step into the shoe of daddy or mommy or whoever is doing the business to run the show, just like you did now. You told me about your grandma. Your grandmother is no longer, I'm sure is she still living?
Oh yeah, she was just in my office right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is she not in the business? Or are you supporting her in the business?
Yeah, so she's more like, she still comes around. I try to tell her to stay more of at home, and but she's very, very energetic. She's
Oh my
77
God,
years
that's
old.
awesome. I was
But
thinking she's normal. That's why you
oh
took
nah,
over.
that she's very active. Still, and still, like she's actively involved in the business, right?
Oh,
So that's
good.
the good thing. That once again, when you have when you're running a family business and you have people who are understanding of each other, it kind of takes the pressure off. Like even if I'm not here, the person who's here has the best interest of the business. You see
Sure,
what I'm
sure.
saying? Versus you having somebody who's not, part of the business and they don't have
Who
passion
doesn't
for
have
the
the same
business.
vision with you?
Right.
You are able to run better because you have the vision your grandma passed on to you. And
Sure.
sometimes people, when they want to do business, the first thing they want to look, how long have you been in business? And she has relationship she'll be
Of
building
course.
on, referrals that will come. So,
Definitely.
sometimes how long the business has stayed also matter. Sometimes people don't want to do business with newbies. They feel,
Right.
oh, the companies have been there for 10, 20, 20 years, will do a lot better. So, and because of your grammar, she's been in business for maybe over 10 or 15 years. The moment people get to know, say, oh, that company, they've been there for long, people want to do business with her. And
Absolutely.
also, she's able to refer more clients to you. Clients she's not able to run after. She's able to tell you, Dipo, I met this person. I
Yeah.
can run after this person. I don't have the kind of energy. And I know you have the energy because you're still very youthful. You can run after the person to get the business. And that's
Absolutely.
it. That's awesome. Very great.
Yeah.
Having
Yeah. Yeah.
your grandma starting a business and you coming on board. And I'm sure maybe you're probably grooming one of your kids too. Or your wife
But
is
in a
someone.
different type of business. So, I don't think they'll be involved. I mean, so I'm grooming them more for my entrepreneur. I mean, this is technically an entrepreneurship business as well, but really at this point, it's about educating them on how money works, how to invest, the concept of an entrepreneur versus an employee,
Yeah,
So,
sure.
yeah, yeah,
No, that's a good one because they're having a very good foundation. So
of
they are not
course.
saying that, oh, I'm going to the university to come and work for someone. I'm going to the university probably becoming an entrepreneur. Or if I get to land a job, I must do my side business alongside. And because
Yep.
that's what is in now, everybody wants to do their show. They want to do their business. And a lot of people, some of them are finding it very difficult because it's already some very late. Because this is the best time to ever to start a business is maybe 20 years ago. The next best time is now.
Now.
So a lot of times people working in a 9 to 5 job, this is the time to do your business, to grow your business alongside with your paid job. Because you don't leave your business, you don't leave known for an unknown. You don't
Right.
leave, you have to grow the business to come to a level where you think you're comfortable to be able to, transit into it. Because I found that a lot of people or retiree left with a lot of money being paid to them, and they took all their money to get into a business they never knew anything about.
Wow.
Some of them lost all they had. So for such people, I tell them, even if you want to go into a business and you were paid a large sum of money, you could use the 25% to try the business, test the waters. You don't just go with everything 100% into the business. You have not been trained because you see somebody doing a business and the person is striving. It's not enough reason for you to jump and up into the sea to say, okay, I want to swim. I know how to swim. You have
Sure.
to find out what skill the person had before doing the business. And that's what I did. Before I got into my book readiness to launch my book, I spoke with you. I spoke with all the friends that I think, and I asked them because I wanted to find out. I don't want my book to be one of those books that end up on people's shelf. That is not
Mm,
everywhere. My book is going to be a bestseller very someday, and that's my dream because you become what you
awesome.
see, you become what you say. So I believe, well, if I do what I need to do and I'm consistent at doing it, I'll get there. Rome was never built
Absolutely.
in a day. Like John Maxwell will tell you, beat by beat, step by step, will take you to where you're going. If
Mm,
you fold your hands and waiting for everything to be ready before you get in, you will never start anything.
that's right.
Like the weekly show I started, I'm not a social media person. I just started barely 4 or 5 months ago. I knew that he says there are no better time to do anything but now. So he said, John Maxwell will always tell you, you get good at doing what you're doing in it. You don't get good waiting for it or reading books. So he said, up in and start doing what you need to do. Whilst doing it, you get good. He said, every day you do something, you get good. You make your mistake, you rise up again. And he says, what did he say? He said, mistake is another way of doing the same thing you thought you did wrongly.
Mm,
So, yes, you make mistake, but you get better. You get
right.
stronger. And you're able, and that one of his statement was keep failure and success together. I was like, how can you keep success and failure together? He said, because failure keeps you very humble. He said, but success and failure together keeps you resilient, meaning you failed. You have gone back to your drawing board to find out why you failed, and you're back up to say, I must succeed. You're
Mm,
resilient. You keep hitting the nail on
right.
the head until you make your way. He said, but if both of them are not together, when you get successful, it gets into your head and you become prideful and people stay away from you. But when you fail, people who are behind you coming up, they're encouraged to hear your story. They want to
Yeah.
hear your story of how you failed and how you were able to overcome. And that's what this show is all about. Learning from people's pitfall. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Dipo is doing this business. I could sit with Dipo and say, Dipo, I need you to mentor me for this period of time. I want to get into the same business that you do. Because a lot of times people don't want to give themselves. When I was about doing a laundry business, I was doing bakery, but I had a gas explosion that almost
Mm,
claimed my girl's life. And my
wow.
husband said, you can't continue that business until the girl is out of the hospital. That if it was your child, you will stay by our bed or his bed to ensure he gets well. So I found that after some weeks, I didn't go back. Most of the things I had in the bakery were already turning bad. There was no way I could continue because of the fear of gas explosion.
Right.
So I thought of what can I do? I had to, count my cost because a lot of times people are ashamed to count their costs and let go. You're not in business for anyone to please anyone. You have to look at your passion and why you're in business. You're in business because you want to add value to people. You're not in business to show off. I got in and over time I looked for someone to come buy all the gadgets. And I know the rent of the shop was running. What can I do with my hands? that I can get up to speed and get to start doing. I went to look for a big laundry shop. I know the man because I used to go give him some clothes, some delicate shirts to wash for me. I had to tell him that this is the situation. He took me to his office because I told him I'm ready to come and learn. I'm ready to come and service and work for him for a period of time to get the skill. Because whatever business you want to go, you want to know what the business is all about. Because if you get people to do the business for you, they can decide not to come show up at work.
Right.
How do you face your customer? Would you tell your customer you're closing shop because your staff is not around? It's your vision, it's your business. So you need to get good at what you do. So over time, I went to meet him to mentor me. He told me what machines to get, what people to get. He interviewed my first staff, got my first staff to work for me. You know, he came to my shop to design the front desk. He designed everything in the shop
Mm.
because one, I want to prototype him. I want to copy him, but I do not have to go and poach his staff or come steal ideas from him. But I went
Right.
to meet him, so he was ready to open up to me. He was ready to open up the true side of the story and the bad side of the story. Because
Mm.
he told me sometimes your staff can get people's clothes burnt. They can get their clothes, you know, stained, such that maybe they mix it with other fabric. And what do you do at such times? How do you manage? What chemicals to have? So for every business that everyone do want to venture into, there is always every reason why you need to get up to skill. Learn the
Right.
business, give yourself away. Go give free service and say, okay, I want to work for you for 3 months. I want to learn what you're doing. I want you to mentor me. It's all about mentoring this time around because the people coming behind, most of them are just, you know, book book brilliance. There is no
Right.
hands-on skill. They go to university, they learn the theory, they learn what it's all about to fix the computer. Some of them don't have hands-on these gadgets. So a lot of times it's always good you go look for someone to mentor you. Get into the field,
Absolutely.
get your hands dirty, get yourself dirty, learning the skill and getting good at it. I want to find out and ask what was your biggest challenge in the business front as an entrepreneur? Because I know sometimes as an entrepreneur, I did that back yet and I knew what it means. It is you don't want to give up. Even in business, you see the business, sometimes the business might not be going as expected. How did you overcome those incidents? Because I would say maybe that those periods are probably one of your biggest challenges. How did you overcome? What encouraged you? What kept you doing the business? Because some people throw in the towels and they say that's the end. They don't do the business any longer. But you know, some people stay true and they get good and they come out of whatever the situation is.
So one of the things that, especially, I'll talk about the business that we're in right now, which is the staffing business, is the business of dealing with people. Sometimes you hire key role positions, and the unfortunate part about the healthcare industry is that you have to hire specialties. You can't just hire anybody. They need to have certain certificates to do certain jobs. And when we hire certain people in key roles, um, even they know that, and we know that we need them, right? And because they know we need them and we know we need them, it kind of creates a situation where you try to do everything you can as a staff, as an employer, to keep these key positions, because there's certain jobs that you can't get without these positions. So we've had situations where literally, somebody comes in and say, hey, I'm no longer working here, or in the next 2 weeks I'm done, right? So it's not so bad that they're done, but it's the process of getting somebody to fill those positions. And if
Yeah.
those positions are not filled, you can't execute certain jobs or get certain jobs to even get paid for them. So we've had plethora of those type of situations. And there's something key that you talked about keeping failure and success together. Because in those moments, even though you feel like, let me just give up and face one side of the business, but as an entrepreneur, the spirit of tenacity to want to continue to move on in doing whatever it takes will always take you over that hurdle. And in each situation, we've always been able to overcome, right? Even if it's like the last minute, we get somebody to come in so that we can process for invoice or something. Because once again, without those positions being filled,
You can
you
get
can't
paid.
do anything. right? And it's actually funny. We're in that same situation right now, right? So it's almost like an ongoing thing to a certain degree in the healthcare industry,
Yes,
right?
because
So
there will be influx and outflux of people.
absolutely.
People will get better jobs, and you can't stop them from
You
moving.
can't. So you just gotta be ready as an entrepreneur to go through all manners of hurdle. I mean, I was watching documentary on Elon Musk, how he put in, talking about SpaceX. He had about 200 million to invest in, being able to go out to space, and literally 3 out of 4 times, the first 3 times, every rocket that they sent out of space was a total colossal, exploded. You see what I'm
Wow.
saying? And you're
Yeah, I
talking
do.
about millions. So the last rocket was his last hope. Then all his money was on that last rocket. And you know what happened? That last rocket happened to be the one to make it out to outside of Earth. And that
Yeah.
was the breakthrough for SpaceX. So as an entrepreneur, you will encounter so many failures that you feel like it's the end of the world. I mean, I can tell you countless stories of how my grandmother, sometimes she will be crying. Sometimes she will, because she's put in so much in the business that, like this can't be happening right now. But she has that spirit of tenacity to continue to move on, that no matter what happens, like we just got to make it through. So as a family, we do whatever it takes to make sure the business get executed, despite all the challenges that we face. And that's the reason why we're still in business today. But because I can tell you, there's certain challenges that you will face as an entrepreneur that will just knock you out of the game if you're not tenacious.
Sure. Sure. And that's why for you to do any business, you must have that tenacity, the spirit of resiliency, the spirit of being persistent and being
Absolutely.
consistent at what you do. You don't change from this today, you're doing this, tomorrow you're there. But do you have any time you had to go to represent these staffs because they never showed up?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I
I
sit in my
experienced it too.
office, I make, huh?
No, I said I had experienced it. I'm sure I knew you
Oh yeah.
would probably would have to send someone or you go in person.
I've had situations where I had to go and work for the client because we didn't have enough staff at that location. And some of our other staff didn't even know that I'm one of the leaders in the company, because I don't give that impression like I'm the boss type of deal. Some of them have never met me. So sometimes like I just go in and act like a regular employee,
Oh, yeah.
and regular staff, and just I'm asking, hey, what should I be doing? And very, I guess humble per se, because for me, I don't let title get into my head, and sometimes
Yeah.
by the time they find out that I'm, one of the top bosses, they just scream, because it's a total shock to them,
Yeah, but
but yeah,
that
there's
will
been,
even keep them to be
oh
with
yeah,
you guys,
so
you
there
know.
have been times where we've been short staffed, and I had to go and get certain certifications so that I can work just like my staff. Right? I don't have to, but once again, as the one running a company, family
Yeah.
business, if nobody's available to work, you better show up so that you can please your client.
Yeah.
So
And there's certain field you can work in if you don't have the certification.
or not in the
So you must
healthcare
be
for sure.
ready to read and study and be ready to take up
Absolutely.
whatever task you see to get the business going. Because you
Yeah.
can't tell your customers, oh, I'm unavailable because I don't have a staff for this. You keep trying, you
Absolutely.
keep striving. I would say for in a jiffy, you have been able to tell us what it is to start a business, what it is to be resilient and having that tenacity. And would I ask you again to say what was your biggest challenges or your biggest check, that made your business boom?
I mean, the checks are, they're consistent. The booming is it comes in building over time, so it's not like it's a one time thing. As you
Yeah.
continue to expand your horizon of adding value to your clients, they continue to give you more work, right? So we don't really focus more so on having a big check as much so as how can we meet the needs of our clients? Because one of the things that pains me is that when we have a request and we don't have the manpower to execute, right? So that means we're not in a position to provide value for that client at that time,
Yeah.
right? So rather than being conscious of checks, we're conscious of value. And when you're value oriented, the checks will always come.
Sure, sure. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for your time.
My
I have
pleasure.
gleaned enough from you that it's value. Your focus in business should be value. Value for the people, value for whatever services you're throwing out there for people to get. Because one of the reasons that causes business to thrive is referrer. When I
Hmm.
get impressed by what you do, I'll refer my friend to say, "Oh, if you're looking for such company to give you staff, talk to Dipo because they've served me some times ago." So it's always good you leave a very good impression with the people you meet. And that's why with Joe Maxwell, he will tell you we are people of value, adding value to people. That means everything you find, whenever you find yourself, wherever you find yourself, whoever come across your paths, you leave them better than you met them. They will keep coming. Once they have a
Absolutely.
very good impression about you, they are the ones that will be your mouth speaker. You don't have to advertise for you to get business. They will be your advertising meant points because they will tell everyone they come across who might need your services. I want to thank you for your time. It was meant to be a 30 minutes, but you had so much to tell us, and I had gleaned enough, and I'm sure a lot of people connecting have gleaned enough. Thank you so
Awesome.
much. I just want to find out a question someone sent was that how did you manage in the time of COVID? Maybe the person was not there when you would. How did you manage in the time of COVID?
Yeah, we had to adjust a lot, even though we're in the healthcare business and there was a lot of I mean, the demand was overwhelming, right? But even with that, you have to kind of reorientate your staff as to how things should be done in order to protect yourself and also protect the client. But ultimately, from a business standpoint, we didn't face a lot of the challenges that most organizations face because that was like the peak of healthcare. I mean,
Yes, that was it.
you couldn't even. I mean, it was so understaffed that understaffed is an understatement. So, by God's grace, the business thrived during the point of COVID, and it's still thriving because healthcare is one field that you will never ever have no demand for. There's
Yeah,
always a demand for people,
yeah,
right?
sure.
So that's the thing for us. Yeah, we really didn't feel any impact.
Thank you so much for that.
My
I don't know
pleasure.
if you have a last word you want to leave with the people connecting. What's your last statement? What do you want people to remember tonight for?
Tenacity. I think that's the big word. My wife and I were just talking about this yesterday about how entrepreneurs, I mean, looking at where when she started her business, right? I mean, starting from home, didn't have any customer, zero, right? So how do you go through that process without giving up? It's tenacity, the
Yeah,
ability
sure.
to continue to keep pushing even when things aren't looking the way you want them to look. I look at our business here, business in Rwanda, business in Nigeria. Every single business that we're engaged in requires a certain level of tenacity to kind of break through. And that's why they said that most businesses fail within their first 5 years because most people just don't have the tenacity to break through because of the ruggedness within a business and what it takes to succeed. So, for anybody watching out there, if you're looking to start a business or if you're already in the business and you're experiencing some type of challenge, remember that you can succeed in anything only if you will have enough tenacity to hold on and do whatever it takes to succeed.
Thank you so much, Dipo.
My
A lot to
pleasure.
glean from you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for being on this show. Please, if this is your first time of being on this channel, please kindly like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can often get more updates when we have people of like minds to tell us their story so we can learn and glean from them. Thank you and have a blessed evening. Bye,
Bye
everyone.
bye.